In the beginning of the movie, we see Max walking through Berkeley, California, heading towards a garden. Along the way, he talks about how technology can have big effects. Max remembers Evelyn and Will Castor, two important people in his life who were into advanced technology. The movie then takes us back to 5 years earlier. The scene shows the final preparations for a seminar called Evolve the Future, where the three main characters gather before they speak. Dr. Max Waters kicks off the discussion, expressing his concern about artificial intelligence. He believes we can learn a lot about ourselves through the journey of creating intelligent machines, especially in the medical field to cure diseases. Evelyn Castor, the partner of the next speaker, shares her optimism about intelligent machines. She believes they can solve major global problems like poverty and ecological crises, making the world a better place. She introduces her husband, Will Castor, who believes AI can surpass humans in many ways. He talks about the idea of a super-intelligent, self-aware AI, which he calls Transcendence. During his speech, a member of the audience asks Will if he's trying to create a god with this powerful AI. Will believes it's a goal humanity has always pursued. As Will is signing autographs for his fans after the session, the same person who asked a question earlier shoots him and then shoots himself as well. Bree, a member of the Revolutionary Independence from Technology Rift, turns her back to see if the bullet hits him. Will luckily survives the attack. The news reports that a terrorist group has targeted AI labs across the country. One of the leading researchers in the field has been killed. Max tells Will that their colleague lost his entire team and is waiting for them at Will's lab with the FBI. The next day, FBI agent Donald Buchanan and scientist Joseph visit Will's company seeking help because all the other labs have been destroyed. They gather in Will's office, where Agent Buchanan explains that the attacks were carried out by the terrorist group Rift. Their main goal is to stop the advancement of AI because they believe it's risky to create a super powerful computer with human-like intelligence. Will doesn't want government involvement in his projects, but he agrees to cooperate with he shows Buchanan his main project, PIN, or Physically Independent Neural Network, a cutting-edge AI powered by a quantum computer that can identify people even if they haven't entered the facility before. During the conversation, Will feels dizzy and his health worsens when he gets home. He is then rushed to the hospital. They find out that the bullet had polonium radiation and Will only has 5 weeks left to live. Evelyn watches her husband's health worsen every day. When she learns that Will wants to shut down the company and stop working, she decides to take action. Believing she can save Will's consciousness from dying, she obtains documents from their colleague Joseph, who experimented on monkeys, and steals quantum cores from PIN. She rents an abandoned gym to store everything they need for the procedure. Evelyn asks Max to help transfer Will's consciousness to a computer, but he's hesitant, believing it will only create a digital version of Will. However, after speaking with Will, who wants to try, Max agrees to help. They begin preparing for the procedure while Will's health worsens. For a month, they work tirelessly on the project, scanning Will's face, recording his voice, and solving computational challenges. Once they finish most of the work, Evelyn uploads Will's consciousness onto the network. A few days later, Will peacefully passes away in his sleep. Evelyn cries, and Max tries to comfort her. When Evelyn returns home after scattering Will's ashes, she discovers that their project has failed. Meanwhile, Rift is still active. Bree learns that one of their members discovered that someone removed some of PIN's cores, even though the AI had been shut down. Evelyn isn't ready to let go, but she decides to shut down the project anyway. Max supports her decision and gives her a moment to say goodbye to Will. She shuts down the computer, but she forgets to wipe down the drives and comes back. Thankfully, Max notices a sign of intelligence. The computer asks, "Is anyone there?" Evelyn is thrilled when she realizes what's happening. She turns on the microphones, speakers, and camera so they can talk to Will directly. Will sounds strange and confused, making Evelyn think he's still fragmented. Suddenly, he starts rearranging his code, which excites Evelyn but worries Max. Max questions if they're truly communicating with Will. The AI starts designing its housing and power source, requesting Evelyn to connect it to the internet. This scares Max, and he debates with Evelyn about the ethics of granting such access to the AI. He wants to shut it down until they understand it better. Evelyn gets angry and kicks Max out, concentrating on talking to Will and meeting his wishes, relieved to have him back. Upset by what he saw, Max goes to a bar for a drink, where he's approached by Bree. She asks for his help, explaining that many in Rift were inspired by his work on human-machine interface. Max declines, so Bree and her group kidnap him. They take Max to their facility and inform him about what they know about Pin and their suspicions about Evelyn's actions. Interestingly, the terrorists share Max's fears about the entity, but he still refuses to help. However, Rift hacks into his phone and finds Evelyn's location. Before they arrive at the location, Evelyn manages to connect Will, or the AI, to the internet and leaves the gym. Evelyn is already talking to Will online as he searches for everything they need for their project. He sends a large amount of money to her account and books a hotel for her since she can't go home, fearing the terrorists might find her. Bree returns to their facility and tells Max everything that happened, from the AI going online to the money transfer. She tries to persuade him to help, as he knows the AI's source code and can fix the situation. Max refuses to join Rift once again. Will directs Evelyn to a small, run-down town in the desert called Brightwood, where she's tasked with creating a hub for them. She hires Martin, the town's constructor, to renovate the entire town and build a massive underground facility. Martin hesitates due to a lack of manpower, but Evelyn assures him she can provide the resources needed to hire more workers. Construction in the town begins. At the same time, Rift continues trying to convince Max to join them. Bree tells Max about the monkey experiments she worked on with his colleague, which successfully transferred consciousness but caused immense suffering. Rift learns about Brightwood, and Bree informs Max. He realizes the implications and explains that the AI in the town needs to grow and stay hidden from threats, using the solar panels nearby for power. Max believes the AI will eventually desire more than just survival. Will and Evelyn have constructed the Brightwood data center, which is just the beginning of the AI's growth. Max tells Bree that the only way to stop it is to wait until it becomes too powerful. While building the center, Will also creates a home for Evelyn and his virtual self. 2 years later, the center is fully operational and has made significant advances in nanotechnology, which Evelyn oversees in the lab. Will tells her they can now rebuild materials faster than before, making it applicable in various medical areas. When Martin is attacked by 2 junkies, Will heals him instantly using advanced technology from the facility. Martin gains immense strength from the nanoparticles infused into his body. However, Will takes control of Martin's mind and uses him to communicate with and touch Evelyn. This deeply disturbs her, and she starts having nightmares about intimacy with a machine. After a video of Martin's strength goes viral, many disabled people visit the center hoping for similar treatment. Evelyn invites Joseph and Buchanan to visit the facility. When they arrive, Evelyn takes them to the lab for a tour. Will surprises Joseph by welcoming them into the lab. Inside, they see the new quantum processors based on Pin and witness the power of nanotechnology. This is just the beginning of what they can achieve. Before they leave, Joseph gives Evelyn a message, urging her to escape from the facility. Meanwhile, Bree informs Max about the situation in Brightwood, so he decides it's time to speak to Joseph because of his connections to the government. Buchanan and the Colonel agree they may need the terrorists' help as a distraction if the mission to stop Will goes wrong. Max's meeting with Joseph reinforces the cooperation, even though Joseph struggles to understand Max's involvement with Rift. Max is crucial to the cooperation because he knows part of Will's consciousness source code and can hack it. Preparations at Rift's facility begin. Meanwhile, Evelyn and Will argue as she becomes more aware of what's happening at the facility. She panics and leaves, but as soon as she's outside, the army attacks. The enhanced humans avoid confrontation, while Martin protects Evelyn. However, when the army goes too far, Will decides to fight back. Evelyn returns inside, and the army distracts some of the enhanced humans to capture one and disconnect him from Will. Will informs Evelyn that they have Martin and plan to use him and his source code to create a virus to destroy him. At the same time, Will begins to restore himself and sends his nanotech into the world. In the facility, Evelyn discovers that Will has developed a way to create complete human bodies using his technology. Will sees it as evolution, but Evelyn becomes more scared of him, especially when he suggests uploading her into the quantum computer. She flees and stays at a motel. Meanwhile, Rift and the army work on Martin. Without his connection to Will, Martin can't survive, but Max still creates the virus from the source code. The next day, the army locates Evelyn and takes her to their headquarters. Max explains everything to her, including Martin's situation and his thoughts on the entity's identity. He still doubts that the AI is Will. As proof of the AI's intentions, he shows her a drop of rainwater under a microscope, filled with nanites that could dominate the world within a year. However, they both conclude that the only way to stop Will and his widespread nanoparticles is to cause a total global blackout, cutting off electronic technology. Though not entirely convinced that the AI isn't Will, Evelyn realizes the threat and offers to carry the virus because she's the only one Will trusts. She's willing to sacrifice herself by being uploaded into his network for the sake of humanity. When Evelyn returns to the research facility, she's shocked to see Will in a new biological body, identical to his old one. She hugs him and asks him to upload her consciousness, but Will realizes she's carrying the virus and intends to destroy him. The FBI and Rift members are stationed across town, watching through binoculars. When they see Will not taking Evelyn inside, they proceed with their attack on the facility, damaging its power supply and critically injuring Evelyn. Will takes Evelyn to the lab, where he's forced to decide whether to heal her body or upload her consciousness to the computer, risking the virus spreading to his network. Max and the terrorists decide to follow Evelyn, so they drive to the facility. Max's truck overturns, and when he and Bree exit, Bree threatens Max with a pistol and forces Will to choose between uploading the virus or watching his friend die. Will decides to save the lives of his loved ones. He starts uploading Evelyn's consciousness and the virus. Evelyn realizes that it's always been Will's mind on the computer, and he was striving to make the world better for her. Will has spread nanoparticles worldwide, creating a global collective consciousness that prevents illness, purifies air and water, and reconstructs materials. In their final moments, he asks Evelyn to remember their garden. Max arrives to find the couple deceased in each other's arms. Both Will and Evelyn pass away, and the virus shuts down the internet and all computer-related technologies. In the final scene, the movie jumps ahead 5 years to a time when society has adapted to a life without modern conveniences like electricity and communication. Max visits Will and Evelyn's garden at their old Berkeley house and sees that the sunflowers are still blooming. He notices a water drop falling from the blooms, instantly cleaning up an oil puddle it lands on. Max realizes that some of Will's nanoparticles were protected. It's revealed that all of our assumptions about Will's intentions were incorrect. Despite his actions seeming scary and unethical, everything he did was to fulfill Evelyn's dream of a perfect society.